Hi 2220 students, this is Dennis. I'm just going to go over exam 1 since this is a mixed mode class and we don't have infinite time to do this together in Zoom. So question number 1 says select the best answer to this question. Identify a string. Your choices were you cannot simulate a string in C. C does not have a data type named string. This part's true, it does not, but you can simulate it. And how do you do that? An array of characters with the null symbol as the last element. There's no data type called string, and you would create several char variables and connect them together. I don't even know what that means. So this is the one and only answer. Question 2, what is a multi-valued variable? It is an array. I don't know what a book is, and a table has nothing to do with C. Now the only other possible answer was a struct. A struct is not a multi-valued variable. It is a data type that can have multiple data types a part of it, but it is not a variable. It is a data type used to make a variable. So this is the answer. So match the loops. The for loop is a pre-test loop. The do while loop is a post-test loop, and the while loop is the pre-test loop. Pretty simple, that's it. Question 4, trace this code. So the question is, if 5 is greater than 9, is that true? No. How about is 5 less than 9? Is that true? Yes. False or true is true. So since it's true, it does this. Skip, skip, skip. And the answer is some. It is definitely not, will not display anything. It's none, and it's not this. Some. This is true. Do this. Done. Question 5, which of these statements is false about an array on the stack? The user can input values. Of course you can, so that's true. Arrays are passed by reference. All arrays are passed by reference. The user can input the size. Whoa, remember the size must be a constant on the stack, so this is definitely false. Let's check this. The user can remove things. Of course you can. If a function changes the value in the array, then the calling function has the changes also. That's what arrays are passed by reference means. So this is the one and only answer. The user cannot input the size. This is false. A way to temporarily and explicitly change the data type of a variable is known as typecasting is the right answer. I don't know what promotion is, compiling or demotion. So this is the only answer. Like none of the others are even close to making. Question 7, the rules for writing a particular programming language is known as? No. Oh, come on. No. Syntax. Simple as that. Syntax, I'm not going to read anymore. Question 8, what is the value of x after this code would have run? So x starts out as 8. And then I call some function, which I have no idea what this function does or looks like in the body, but what I do know is I'm passing x by value. So even though this is called change x, it can't change x. So unless there was an ampersand in front of this x, I would be concerned. But since there's not, x equals 8 after this, right here, x equals 9, x equals 10, x equals 9, x equals 8. It's as simple as that. Not 6, but 8. So the correct answer is 8. If there was an ampersand in front of these x's, then this would have been the answer. But since there's not, the answer is 8. So this is question 9 is pretty similar to the question 8. The difference is the ampersand is in front of this x, and I don't know what the change it function does. So the answer here would be no way of knowing. If I look right here, I don't see any change it function body. I don't care about anything else. No way of knowing. Which of the following is not a variable data type default in C? So which is not one of the primitive data types? Float is, short is, int is. We have real numbers, but there's no data type called real, so this is the right answer. Question 11, in C, or pretty much any programming language, what are square brackets used for? Declaring and accessing arrays is the only answer, not declaring and accessing arrays. Missed that one, Shane. Question 12, here's a little bit of code. The code above is an example of what? So if I declare a variable of type char as an array and I assign it to a string, as long as that length has at least one more character than the length of this, then this is a string because what C does during declaration only is I can assign a value and it'll put the null symbol at the end. So this is an example of not a char array, not invalid syntax, but a string. The correct answer is definitely a string. So number 13 has to do with what typecasting does. So I have two integer variables, 5 and 2. I on the fly typecast them to floats, or I'm sorry, to doubles, and I divide 5 by 2, storing it in a double. So 5 by 2 is 2.5. There is a way of knowing. I have no idea whose code I'm looking at here, or exam, but this is definitely not the right answer. This is the only answer. It's not 2 or it's not 3, and that's question 14 says the code below is an example. What kind of loop? So I have x equals 0, so 0 is less than that. So now x equals 1, back to 0, 1, back to 0. So basically anything in this block is not going to ever change x from 0. X is always going to equal 0. This loop will loop forever. It's an infinite running loop. Period. This is the best possible answer. You might want to say, well, this is some type of counter-controlled loop or sentinel-controlled loop. It's not really. If anything, it would be maybe a counter-controlled loop, but this is the best answer, and that's all I can say about it. Question 15, what kind of loop is this? So I start out with a count equals 0, count less than 10, I increment the counter. What kind of loop do I have? I definitely have a counter-controlled loop. Period. So which one of these answers best describes a variable? Well, variables have a name. Variables store values that can change, so both of these are correct. Variables have an address. All three of these are correct. Variable has a data type. This one's correct. So all four of these are correct. Therefore, all answers are the right answer. So if you selected any one of these, you missed the others, and you would have not gotten your 2 points. So this question is basically, do you understand a do-while loop? Remember, the do-while loop, we go into the body at least once. So x is 100, we go in. We have no condition to stop us here. X is 101. Is 101 less than 10? No. What's the value of x at the end of this? 101. Done. At the end, what is contained in the variable x? So let's take a look. We have y and x. Y is 10. So is 10 less than 5? No. Is 10 less than or equal to 10? Yes. X gets 2. Skip that. That's it. X gets 2. Simple little tracing. Little block of code. At this point, what's the value of sum? So right here, what is the value of sum? It's very confusing because of the non-indentation. So that's basically where the problem would be. So sum is 0. And notice this outer loop iterates 10 times. This inner loop iterates 10 times. So if I am adding it up, I am adding up 100 times. I'm incrementing this sum. 10 times 10 is 100. And the answer is 100. I just need to see that pattern and I'd be able to answer. I have an array called y with 5 elements, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the subscripts. I have a variable called x. If y sub 1 is 20 less than or equal to 10, that's not true. Else x equals 2. The answer is, what is x? 2. Wow, pretty simple. Question number 21, follow the code to completion. So there's my array. I loop through this array, and it looks like I'm just adding everything up. I'm adding everything up. And then the question is, what does x equal at the end? So what you have to notice is I'm traversing this through this array, going this direction, and I'm adding the value of the index to it. So the first index is 0, that stays 0. This is the index is 1, this is 21. This is 32, this is 43, and this is 54. What is an array sub 4? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. After this, 54. That's the right answer and the only answer. Question 22. Basically, which of these is correct? Line 8 is a C statement. Nope, line 8 is just a comment. That C statement's all in the semicolon. Line 2 has a syntax error. I don't see any syntax errors. That looks valid. Next, line 3 sets the value of I to 0. Line 3 does not, because I did not assign it to anything. Line 5 changes the value of the array. So this one better be true, or none of these answers are true. And this is definitely what it's doing. This is changing the value of the array. The right answer is this. Question 23. I tell you that one of these 8 lines have an error. So which one does? This looks good. What is this period down here? Doesn't that need to end in a semicolon? So definitely line 2 has an error. This looks okay. 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 And this looks okay. So therefore the answer, the one and only answer, is line 2. I don't see any error in line 4, whoever this student is. Okay, so what you had to do here is you had to notice what the contents of this array looks like at the end of this code. And the fact that you were at home, all you had to do was code this, and then display your array, and you would have seen that all the values in any column would be the same. So the array would go row by row, and each column would be the same as the other columns. Shame on you for saying anything other than the right answer. And if this was maybe in a classroom, I'd get it. But this was at home. You had infinite time, and you could run this code. You could run the whole code in this entire exam. Okay, so we're iterating the outer loop 5 times, inner loop 5 times. We're putting a 1 in this array. So we're going to have 25 elements in an array with 1 in each one of the elements. So therefore, what would those all add up to? 25. I don't get where 100 would have ever came into play. So here's some code where x equals 5, y equals 5. We call change it. We don't change anything because this is passed by reference. This is passed by value, and all this is doing is assigning itself to itself. So at the end of this, they both equal 5. What would 5 plus 5 be? I think that's 10. Question 27. I will just tell you, if you kind of gave me anything, especially for as bad as a lot of you've done, I would have given you your points. I'm not sure I like either of those answers enough to truly give 5 points, but I did. I mean, when somebody's getting 62 on an exam that I thought 100%, I could care less about 10 points. Okay, that's it. Any questions?